The portal is absolutely popping in East Lansing for both basketball and football. Our hoops team, big visitor on campus right now in Trey Fort. And also for football, yeah, guys, for the 17th time in the last year, it seems like that the portal is back open. Who's Michigan State going to try to get? Who could they lose? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for kicking off today, this blessed portal day with us here at Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below. I guess for either basketball or football, a position you would like to see filled the most on this roster. We will talk about football because on this Wednesday, yes, the spring portal is back open. It's silly season yet again. We're going to talk about needs for Michigan State, where we could see some attrition also for this roster. But first, guys, it's also basketball portal season, and it is popping with some secrecy. Once again, here in East Lansing, they did a really good job of keeping the Caleb Glenn commitment under wraps until, well, when Mr. Glenn announced it. And right now, according to Justin Thin of 24/7 Sports, our Spartans have Trey Fort on campus right now. Now, what does that mean? What name did I even just belt out for you right there? Well, let's get to know Mr. Fort. 6'4", third-team All-SoCon player out of Samford. He averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds per game. Now, we're going to go through what he is, what he would be for this team, and then who he's also not. Because, well, first and foremost, I think this is someone that you can be excited about, should be excited about, should he come to Michigan State. This would be your starting shooting guard. This is the need that this would fulfill. You already got Caleb Glenn. We already said that they're going to need like a bigger wing, hopefully a guy more experienced, so, you just don't throw Jordan Scott, a true freshman, right into the fire, okay? They took care of that need. Now, even more glaring than that one was you need a starting two guard or a starting shooting guard, and you need a backup point guard. This would check the box for your starting shooting guard right there. And, well, what else is he? It's in the name. It's a shooter. Guys, like his name literally translates to 3-point dwelling. Guy's name is Trey Fort, for crying out loud. So good. Good, we got that joke out of the way. All right, now if you haven't turned off the episode by now, let's all move forward with that. He shot 38% from three last year for Samford, and not just, on a few attempts per game. No, my man had the green light, the greenest of all lights. He was always strapped when he hit the court, 38% on over 6 attempts per game. Now, college basketball scouting, that's a YouTube channel out there. They have a bunch of highlights of pretty much every transfer portal target out there. I don't know where they get these stats from, but I have no reason to doubt them. They say that from the left corner, specifically in three-point land, he's shooting 52%. So he certainly has his favorite spot on the court, but it's not just from what he does behind three-point land that is impressive. He is also 54% on twos, which is above average, and also 50% on long twos, which is well above average. And Tom Izzo and us Michigan State Spartans love nothing more in the game of basketball than a long-range two-pointer with your foot roughly about 18 inches inside the arc. So, hey, he does that very well. So look at that. No, I mean, even when you watch him, it's not really a head scratcher as to, how he fills the hoop. He does have a quick release. He does have a really smooth shooting stroke about him. With catch and shoot shots, this is from that YouTube channel again, guys. I'll shout them out again. College Basketball Scouting. 86th percentile on catch and shoot shots in effective field goal percentage. So when he gets the ball hoisted up, he is amongst the best in the country at that. Also on off the dribble shooting, still above average nationally on that. He is in the 65th percentile. So he is also comfortable creating his own shot. I know we just rattled off that he's really good at catch and shoot, but what does Michigan State need outside of like just a starting two guard next year? It's actually a guy on the floor amongst the starters of, Jeremy Fears, whoever the starting two guard would be, Cohen Carr, Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, who's going to create their own shot? And even if you want to throw the backups in here, like Jordan Scott, is he going to be able to create his own shot as a true freshman? Maybe, I don't know, Kurtang, like I still believe that he's going to be a strong player here at Michigan State. Definitely more productive sophomore season than freshman season, but we don't know his shot creating ability, just, in his own hands. With Fort, you can see that he's got some craftiness about him. He is no stranger to taking the ball inside the lane, being creative with his moves once he gets inside the arc. So, yes, he can create a shot. And what else is Trey Fort? Well, guys, he is old and experienced, and it's a good thing that there is no history of me saying on a microphone or a webcam or tweeting anything out like this that I think guys in their mid-20s have no place in college basketball. It is a really, really blessed predicament to be in, because that'd be terrible if I ever said anything about that, because our man right here, 24 years old. And I got to say, when you have like a guy that's 24, 25, which he will be 25 in the middle of March, hopefully the season's still going on by then for Michigan State. When you have one of those guys on your team, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, actually. And I don't think that that's a coincidence as to who Michigan State was targeting here. We're going to get to that more here in a little bit. But, I mean, this is also going to be very unusual for Tom Izzo to take on a guy with this in his pedigree. This would be his sixth college that he has played at. He started his collegiate career at UT Martin and then went down to the JUCO ranks. He started at Copiah Lincoln Community College. Give you $500 if you could tell me where that is at the top of your head. And then he also went to Howard College right after that. Not Howard University, but Howard College, another junior college. And that's important here. I'll explain why in a little bit. Then Mississippi State, then Samford. If he does come to Michigan State, that would be his sixth college. Now, why on earth has this been made possible? Well, it's been recently ruled that if you've played at a junior college, that does not count against your eligibility. So UT Martin, that's 1 year. Mississippi State, Samford, and now he's got one more year. And guys, if you really want to drag it out even earlier than his college career, this would be his ninth school in 9 years, because he went to two different high schools his junior year and then sophomore year, one high school, junior year, another high school, and then went to a prep school in Daytona his senior year. This would be a 9-for-9 sweep of schools and years. I can't even fathom that. I am just someone that hates change. I look at me, I'm wearing the same hoodie that I had for the last 5 years I've been doing this show. I can't imagine doing a different place 9 times in 9 years. But anyway, that's beside the point, guys. Let's talk about what he is not, because I think this is very important to have this kind of a conversation as it pertains to expectations. Should Trey Fort commit to Michigan State? Now, what he is not, obviously a high major player, at least not at Samford. Yes, he did play at Mississippi State, came off the bench there, but he's not a high major transfer. And I think that is important. And yes, Samford was a solid team in the SoCon. They were third place in the SoCon. The SoCon, they ranked 17th out of, I think it was just over 30 conferences, according to BartTorvik.com. So certainly a bona fide mid-major program. In the 6 games that Samford played against top 100 teams, Trey Fort did dip a little bit in all categories, and especially, when he played against Michigan State. Yes, if you remember, this game feels like it was 5 years ago, but Samford did take on our Spartans, and this was Trey's worst game of the year. He had 4 points, 0-5 from three-point land. Now, just like we talked about with Caleb Glenn, because he didn't have a great game for Florida Atlantic when the Owls faced Michigan State. I mean, how many other players had their worst game of the season or one of their worst games of the season against Michigan State? And that's not even just saying the mid-major players. There are some high-major players that really had some fits against that perimeter defense. So I'm not, concerned. I'm not pulling the alarm bells. I'm just saying if he does commit, maybe go back to that Mississippi State slash line he had from shooting the ball at least, because when you go from mid-major, low major to high major hoops, your percentages more times than not do dip down a little bit. But at Mississippi State, still a solid shooter, 35% on the year. I mean, he will have more opportunities. He is 2 years older than what he was when he played at Starkville. So, I think he will come along just fine. And also, don't take it from me, but just take it from Tom Izzo. There is a reason that they are targeting this guy. Izzo has not whiffed on a lot of transfers, even guys that many people have not heard of before. And that's not to say that, hey, Zapala wasn't this first-team All-Big Ten player. No, but he filled the role that Izzo was looking for him to fill. I think Frankie Fiddler, all things considered, a positive player. Certainly Tyson Walker was. Bryn Forbes, if you want to take it back that far. Aaron Harris was solid enough, too, back in the day. So I'm going to go ahead and trust a Hall of Fame coach on this one, a guy that just won the conference by 3 games, and a guy that is very picky in the transfer portal. And just one other thing that he is not, I just want to get this out really quick, and we'll talk more about this should he commit. He's not Jace Richardson. I know that we are looking for the replacement of Jace Richardson, but if you are looking for a guy that will just plug in and play just like Jace Richardson did here in East Lansing, stay tuned to the NBA draft in late June. All those guys will be wearing very fancy suits that I can never afford in my entire life. Jace Richardson was, I don't want to say generational, but that is a very, very tough kid to come by. Yeah, there are some really good players in the transfer portal. I don't even know how many of those like upper echelon transfer portal guys are as good as Jace Richardson. So this is always going to be what it was, a guy from a mid-major school, a guy that has proven it, a guy that is older and experienced. So there's Trey Fort. Really hope he commits. Hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later because, hey, I'd like to talk more about basketball. It's a lot of fun. But also, what is fun, talking transfer portal season for football. A lot of that coming up here in a hot second. But first, need to talk your ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, well, you will get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Now, I love FanDuel, how they make it so easy, and also, guys, just how quick you are paid. If I could jump out of NBA playoffs for a little bit and talk about last weekend, the Masters, Rory McIlroy, he wins, and what happens before the commercial break even airs on CBS? My winnings have already hit my account. FanDuel makes it so simple and so fun to get in on all the action, guys. So don't miss out. Head over to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Again, FanDuel.com. That's right. We're back in silly season for college football because the portal opens again right here on this Wednesday, and it will be open until I think it's April 25th, I believe it is. Yeah, so about 10 days here. Now, you don't have to commit to your next school within that 10-day window. You just have to declare that you are heading out. So here we go. Another month of revolving door season, and this is part intel. This is part, just observations at the roster and what we've seen the last year and where there are some holes in this roster still. But this is where I expect Michigan State to not guarantee pick up guys from these position groups, but this is what they will be targeting here. And first and foremost, to the surprise of no one, even though they've gotten some guys out of the portal already in the winter cycle, is going to be that edge/defensive end position there. Like I said, they already got some guys out of the portal. David Santiago from Air Force, okay? Analu Lafayette from Wisconsin. Now, they already do have some names that you know. Jalen Thompson, the former 4-star, played really good at the end of his freshman year. Anthony Jones, Tyler Gillison, Quindarius Dunnigan, who's lost about 10, 15 pounds. Kike Burnett as a redshirt freshman. James Schott, who has not gotten a lot of run so far in his career. So that is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names that I just rattled off for this edge rush position. And that is still not enough. I want to Always Sunny in Philadelphia cat in the wall this situation. Now, if you don't get that reference, they got a cat stuck in their wall. I can't remember the specifics as to how that happened, but compare getting a cat lost in the wall to going 6 or 7 games, I forgot what the streak was, without a sack last season. Now, what they did in Always Sunny is they kept throwing cats in the wall to try to coax all the other ones out. Just keep on getting as many players and names as you possibly can in this room, and eventually, hopefully, it will just sort itself out. I get in life, we want quality over quantity. Why not just try both cues at this point? Why not quality and quantity? So Chad Wilt, the guy who coaches this position group, he did talk with the media on Tuesday, and he said, quote, "I like the group we have, but never say never." That's when he was asked if they're going to add anyone in the portal. Let me translate that for you. Yeah, you're damn right. We're going to try to get more guys in this room because, sure, this spring might be going okay, but we can't have anything that even resembles a repeat of how bad the pass rush was last year. Now, I will pause and say, I don't think that they're going to go out and get like an instant plug-in and play starter. This is far and few between what the spring portal actually is, especially for teams that are in the situation that Michigan State is in right now. Like, they are not one of these upper echelon schools. They're not just going to just roll out a bunch of money for an instant starter because they're gunning for the college football playoff. But still, even a depth piece at this position with any semblance of experience will be welcomed. Now, Chad Will also did say a lot of good things about, the guys in his room right now. He did say David Santiago, while still a young player, he will never make the same mistake twice. He said that Lafayette had a lot of, quote, juice to his game. So, again, I'm not trying to sell you that, hey, this is solved. You should be really excited about these guys. I'm going to wait until we actually see what happens in the fall. But yes, I would imagine with the portal opening on Wednesday that they will try to get a rush. And again, this is part like just what I saw last year and part talk with people that know a thing about a thing in or outside the program. So keeping on going down the list, where else can you expect them to target guys? The cornerback position, corner. I know I don't enunciate that word all too well sometimes. I want to make sure that you don't think I'm saying quarterback. No. The defensive secondary, because big losses last year. I know that the passing defense numbers weren't great shakes, but you lost Chuck Brantley, who was arguably your best defender last year, and you lost Ed Woods, who was like a fine cornerback, got no favors done by that lack of pass rush, but you also gotten some guys out of the portal that have been solid additions so far, like Joshua Eaton, Nijay Burt, Malcolm Bell. You already have Jeremiah Hughes, Chance Rucker, Adae Wiley, so that's 7 guys for a cornerback position. Now, here's why I think that they still will target a corner, if not a secondary player, maybe a guy that's fluid between that safety position, a cornerback, because, well, they had, Ashad Williams. I meant to write down what school he went to. I think it was North Alabama. Maybe it was Alabama State Tech of the Blind. I don't know. They did have him on campus for a visit at the beginning of last month. He also visited Purdue. Eventually, not too long ago, just committed to Wake Forest. But they still had their eye on a transfer corner not too long ago, even with 7 guys in the room right now. So I think that they don't really necessarily feel thrilled with where they're at. I'm sure they are okay with who they have at the starting position, but such is life in football. You need depth, as us Michigan State fans have found out the hard way in the last few years, actually. I could see it maybe being a safety, of course, like you do have, yes, Malik Spencer, Nikai Martinez, Dylan Tatum, if that's the room he goes back to, Justin Denson or Marion Smith, but hey, I mean, let's not get it twisted. Pretty much every position group, I think, except quarterback, I think you could probably have an upgrade in. It's not to say I'm not happy with how some position groups are right now, but this isn't like a top 10 roster nationally. There is improvements to be made everywhere. I think that you could have some of the secondary. I also think that this is where I get maybe a little confused here, because like I've been told that tight end could also be part of the mix too here. And you also saw that in the winter cycle, because they had the commitment, best 12 hours of Mason Minnie's life when he was a Spartan before he decommitted and then went to Cal. That was the tight end from Idaho that they had, that relationship with for about, like I said, 12 hours. So they did try to get a tight end out of the portal in the winter. I do wonder, even with the room of Brendan Parachek, Michael Masunis, Jack Velling, redshirt freshman Wyatt Hook, like why you would need another one. But as long as I'm told that, I feel like I should relay that to you guys, that maybe a tight end is going to be on the table. But outside of that, I mean, interior D-line perhaps, but I did count 8 guys that could potentially play. But just like we said with the safeties, just because, you see names that doesn't mean that can't be improved upon. Let's all remember, this team has gone 3 years without a bowl game. There is improvement to be had everywhere on this roster, and that is why it's actually not so bad to see the spring portal cycle as far as adding guys. Now, we're going to get to, who Michigan State could lose by attrition here. I'm not going to name names, but just going through the roster, where there might be some log jams, where there might be just an influx of guys in a position room. But first, I did want to actually take a look at this. I did go out on Twitter. I said the spring transfer portal opens back up on Wednesday. What position do you want to see Michigan State prioritize the most in this period? Just under 400 of you guys voted, and I put rush / defensive end, secondary, running back, or other. Rush/defensive end going away the winner, 73.9%. Secondary right behind that, about 15%. Running back, 8%. And then other was 3.3%. So Justin did write a comment that, is it bad that I've completely lost interest in Michigan State football? Ouch. Not sure if it's due to the current state of college football in general, it's NIL and recruiting, or if there's just no juice in the program. Wish I could say I was excited. So not necessarily answering the question there, Justin, but like I will address that really quick. Like, if you are turned off by this whole thing of college football being 24/7 free agency, you saw what happened down in Tennessee with Nico. Oh, let's try with this name. Yamayaleva. I'm sure I got one of those syllables correct. I'm not going to say that like, oh, you're a fake fan. You're Fairweather. You're an idiot for not liking college football right now. No, you're completely justified for feeling the way that you do. But for us sick puppies that are still knee deep in these trenches, yeah, this is what's going on right now. Although I did want to highlight one more answer here before we move it along. Jeffrey did say all of them. Whoever wants to come, sign them up. I like that. I would like Jeffrey to be the general manager should things fall apart in the front office here for Michigan State football. Let's go and just take a look at, what positions it wouldn't be shocking to see Michigan State lose some guys out of. And again, I really don't want to throw names out because that'd be incredibly unfair to these kids that are working hard at spring practice right now. But right off the top, a quarterback, maybe. You obviously have Aiden Chiles. You have two guys that were in the same class last year. Could the second guy that's the third stringer maybe see also Leo Hannon behind him and say, well, I can see the writing on the wall right now. I want to split. Perhaps. Who knows? Throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall. We're going to see what sticks right now. Now, with offensive line, I do wonder if we're going to see, maybe a guy or two put their name in the portal because you got good transfers in Matt Golden, Connor Moore. You have almost double-digit guys that got snaps last year. So for the lack of depth that you had at offensive line last year, it is the reverse of it going into this offseason. Thanks to all the great injuries Michigan State had at that position group last year. But you have guys that have experience, and you got one or two of these guys is going to be third string. And if they see their name on that third string after playing last year, are they going to say, oh, that's fine, I totally get it? Or are they going to jump in the waters too, see if they can get an offer somewhere else, some greener pastures? That's a logjam room. I mean, I'm not saying that it's logjam with all pro talent here, but it is guys that have been experienced with putting their cleats on the grass on a Saturday. Now, tight end. I know we just talked about adding a tight end and why that could be a route they go, which I still have a hard time to believe because, you got Jack Velling. You have Brendan Parachek. You have Michael Masunas. You have Wyatt Hook. I know Michigan State, and this staff in particular, loves running 12 personnel, one running back, two tight ends. I don't know how much 13 personnel they're going to run or 14. We're 3 of these guys get great playing time or 4. So because last year, Michael Masunas was that best tight end in the room before he got injured. Brendan Parachek, still potential if you want to hold out for that. Jack Velling, we all know the story about that. He came in with a lot of expectations last year. So, right off the rip, those are 3 guys that probably have a lot of expectations for themselves as far as production and playing time goes. If one of those guys go, and I know this is rich 2 minutes after I said I'm not going to name names, but truly the tight end room I'm going to have my eye on both ways. Are they going to add someone and why? And then is anyone going to leave here? Stay tuned. Running back, I don't know. I don't really see any departures here, but yeah, you could see it. Eli Tautoliver just came here from Sacramento State. And then you do have 2 redshirt freshmen, Brandon Tulis, Makai Frazier. You have Jace Clarizio as well. Maybe one of those guys aren't going to be happy with sharing the running back room with 4 guys going into the season. It would be understandable. But right now it seems like more like a 3-horse race with Jace Clarizio kind of being that freshman in waiting right there. Wide receiver room, I doubt it. Pretty much everyone has been a transfer from the winter cycle. So if anyone is going to leave, please don't be Nick Marsh. I don't think Nick Marsh will leave. I mean, knock on wood on that. Not like a star player has ever left Michigan State in the spring cycle, but if any other receiver left, it would be a guy that they literally just got in the winter cycle. Let's go over to defense here really quick. Like I said, the defensive line, the interior specifically, they had 8 guys that I just named when I was reading the roster that could, in theory, play. That goes from all the way from true freshman Derek Simmons all the way up to older guys like, Ben Roberts, Alex Van Sumer, and you got your Ben Nelsons of the world there. So 8 guys playing those 2 interior defensive line spots. Wouldn't shock me to see anyone leave that room. The edge, yeah, I know that we're trying to add a lot of guys, but sometimes, it is time to go. I think we all here, let's have an adult conversation. I think we all have reason to believe that room might not be as talented. Yes, we saw the names. There were 7 of them that I just rattled off. 5 of them returning from last year. From a team last year that was abysmal at rushing the passer. So if they got leaped by anyone out of the portal, either the guys they've already added or the guys that they hope to add, I would not be shocked to see anyone take a road into the transfer portal here. Linebackers, look, your starters are Jordan Hall right now, presumably, Wayne Matthews, presumably, and then either one of Brady Pretzloff, Samaj Bridgman, Marcellus Polium, Leonard Ayu coming in, although it could be a minute before he gets back up to speed with the football, I guess, speed. I'll use the word speed twice in the same sentence. And cornerback. Like Caleb Coley left. He left a few weeks ago, or at least announced he was going to leave a few weeks ago. You have Joshua Eaton, IJ Burt, Malcolm Bell, Jeremiah Hughes, Chance Rucker, Adae Wiley. That's 6 guys. And if they're going to try to bring in another corner, well, that's the staff telling you that they don't really have high hopes for everyone in that room right there. So, yeah, it could be that's a long way of saying that it could be from a lot of position groups right now, because there's a lot of names that we know. But also from what we've seen last year, there's also a lot to be desired from a lot of these rooms too, or also guys that are just cemented in starting positions. So buckle up for the next 10 days here. If anyone leaves, of course, we will talk about it here on Locked On Spartans. And I want to just take a minute here and talk about something that I actually haven't brought up all that much lately, because admittedly, 2 things. It's not the most popular sport. And number 2, when I'm watching it, I really have no idea what I'm watching, to be honest. I know that it's a scoring system. You want to do great. You want to not fall off the balance beam. But gymnastics, I do want to, give them some shine to end this episode, because they have made their first national meet since 1988. The second national meet ever reached by Michigan State in the history of that program. Now, they will be on, like, actual television, not like ESPN Deportes Plus. Like, no. ESPN2 on Thursday night, 9 p.m. They're going to be in the second semifinal. Now, joining them in the semifinal is number 2 ranked LSU, number 5 ranked Utah, and then number 6 UCLA. I'm sorry, guys. That's number 2 LSU, number 4 Utah, and then number 6 UCLA. Michigan State's number 5. So they're the 3rd best team of this semifinal of these 4 teams. You got to place in the top 2 to reach the national final on Saturday, which would, I believe, be on ABC if I'm not mistaken. So, hey, if you're bored Thursday night, you want to root on the Spartans, you want to do a little bit of both. Guys, 9 p.m. ESPN2. I'm going to try my best to follow along what's going on. Again, I just know that if you fall, it's not good. If you land a sick trick, that is pretty good. So that's your breaking, hard-hitting analysis on gymnastics right there. But no, just wanted to, again, put a spotlight on them to end the show here, guys. All right, we will be back tomorrow, because this is what we do. It's Locked On Spartans. We do this 5 days a week, whether you guys like it or not. I really hope you do like it. I do. We work hard. Not just me, but all the guests that we have on. You guys work hard listening to this all the time. So thank you very much, guys. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Go Green.